This is my fourth video giving evidences for the existence of God. This particular argument comes from the idea that humans all have a sense of morality. Atheists try to claim that it developed as an evolutionary strategy of survival, because we'll all live longer if we learn to be good instead of bad, tolerant instead of murderous, and forgiving instead of vengeful. And of course, there's a certain amount of sense to that. It may be true. But we still have to somehow explain how it is that all of us have a sense of morality, and even a fairly similar one, and in some cases an identical one. Some people would take an objection to that last point and argue that there is no objective morality, nothing that all humans from any culture in any era would agree to be wrong. But J. Werner Wallace has made a suggestion that I think is correct. He says there's no culture that kills babies for the fun of it, especially not their own babies for the fun of it. Some may kill babies in war, some in religious sacrifice, and some even for convenience, like abortion. But no one anywhere in any culture through all of history thinks it's right to kill babies for the fun of it. Well, given that there is at least one universal objective morality, there may be others. Regardless, one is enough to establish the truth of it. But here's the argument for the existence of God from the standpoint of morality. Number one, it is commonly admitted by religious and atheists alike that there's evil in the world. People believe that some things are they're wrong. Common ones nowadays include things like racism, slavery, and rape. There is evil in the world. Number two, but if evil exists, one must also assume that good also exists, so that we know the difference. We need a concept of good to define what evil is. Number three, and if good and evil both exist, there must be some kind of standard to be able to measure what is good and what is evil. Again, people commonly believe that there are standards of right and wrong, good or bad, that define those words for us. We know what they mean because we have an idea that we use to evaluate such things, leading us to the belief that a moral law exists that allows us to define and evaluate such things. Well, it doesn't come from people or evolution because it's common to all of us in any culture and in any era. Number four, and since a moral law exists, then that moral law has to have had a source, and it's not humans. It must have come from somewhere outside of humanity for there to be an objective basis for it. Number five, following that then, it makes sense that the source of our personal objective moral law must also be a personal, moral, and objective person. That only follows. Therefore, God, a personal, moral, objective source outside of humanity, must exist. So let's talk. What do you think of that?